Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to review the latest Marvel series, Agatha, Wicked Witch of the Westview. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Agatha, House of Harkness, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Who knows what the names are going to be, but on Disney Plus it is officially called Agatha all along. I think I'm probably the only one that didn't even know what the show was going to be called until I saw it on the streaming service. So let's sort of dive into it. Now, this is obviously a spin-off of WandaVision, featuring a WandaVision's side character who became the villain. And so this is sort of exploring the more magical side of the MCU. We've had Guardians and Thor with the space stuff, but the magical side really hasn't been explored all that much outside of Doctor Strange. But in Doctor Strange movies, it's usually Doctor Strange characters. So Werewolf by Night sort of introduced us to this sort of spooky monster world that I think this could relate to. So I don't have a lot of faith in this series, but I do have hope for it. So I'm hoping that the sort of more magical horror supernatural side is explored in this show. Now, to set the record straight, I wasn't the biggest fan of WandaVision. I thought the story was fine. I just found the sitcom humor, it just wasn't for me. Some people like it, I just didn't, and that's that. I did find her story, Wanda's story, to be ultimately repetitive. If you think about it, in Avengers Age of Ultron, she starts off as a villain, ends up being the hero. Fast forward to WandaVision, she starts off as a villain, ends up being the hero. Fast forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, she starts out as a villain, she ends up as the hero. So, ultimately, she's a great actress, everyone loves her character, but her story's just unfortunately been continuously repetitive. So the show ended up being useless because as her character went on to Multiverse of Madness, her character had the same story. So, and of course Vision hasn't been seen. I'm pretty sure Marvel forgot about him. So WandaVision hasn't been useless until now, where now Agatha has her own project. So I guess one character from the show is finally doing something. So in this episode, we've seen in the trailer that she's going to come out of the spell that Wanda put her in. So I feared that this premiere would spend most of the time while she's still in that limbo world, not knowing what's real. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. She does remember everything in the last 5 minutes, which makes this premiere useless, which kind of is just standard Marvel now, I guess, with their series. So let's sort of pick apart what was actually in the episode, what little there was. So we start off where she's sort of this detective. There's this body. Now, Herb, as seen in WandaVision, he's a detective in this as well. And she's going to inspect this body, and Marvel fans will recognize this is presumably supposed to be Wanda's body from Multiverse of Madness. She has the black at the ends of her toes and fingers because of the use of the Darkhold. And I believe it was Herb or some of the characters, someone was telling her that the body was crushed. Even though the body didn't look crushed, it supposedly was crushed, which is what happened to Wanda in Doctor Strange. So this is presumably Wanda. We don't know what's going to happen. This is a dead body for now. And as we move on with the episode, I'll pick up with that later, but that's our opening, is seeing presumably Wanda's body. Now, as the episode goes on, she's trying to figure out where this body came from, trying to find any clues she can. She doesn't really have a lead. She's just trying to grasp at anything to get answers. Now, we have this new detective, Detective Vidal, which we know will be Rio Vidal, if I'm saying that right. Aubrey Plaza makes her debut in Marvel, well, for technically the second time in the series. And so she presumably, as fans, we can tell that she knows that Agatha's under spell. So she's still Agnes, her character she chose in WandaVision. And so Rio is trying to get her to realize that it's a spell. She's trying to nudge her toward that direction. And Agnes she's not taking the hints. She's not figuring it out yet. And so while there's a bunch of nothingness that happens during the episode, presumably Wanda's son Billy Maximoff, now older, as previous scene from WandaVision. He's now older. He's not named, but I forget whether it was rumors on the internet or he admitted who he's going to be, but to my understanding, the Marvel fan base knows he's Billy Maximoff, so wherever that came from, I'm assuming he's Billy Maximoff. And so he shows up, and nothing really happens to his character yet. He fails to steal something from Agnes's house. He's caught, arrested / kidnapped, as we find out, and he doesn't speak for the rest of the episode. So that's really it. So in this episode, he serves kind of a nothingness story, because nothing really happens at all. Toward the end, Rio convinces Agatha to claw her way out of the spell as she's taking all these different layers of clothing. We're seeing the different outfits she had from WandaVision, and the way I remember it, I can't remember the order of every single outfit, but it seems like it's all going backwards. Her last outfit was the one in black and white, and then she remembered everything and woke up in her own home without being under the spell. And so that part is kind of interesting with that sort of mystical, seeing all the different realities sort of coming together, realizing her own. And like I said, we know Rio is supposed to be a witch. We've seen from the trailer multiple witches. We've seen the spooky elements in creatures and faces and figures. So I'm really hoping that we get more of the supernatural element in this series, even though we haven't got it yet. Not in this first episode. And so, obviously, as she comes out of the spell, Wanda's body is gone. There's no body anymore. So we don't know if Wanda was really there. We don't know if it was moved. We don't know if she, we don't really know what's going on. They don't explain all that much. Body was seen. She comes to reality. The body is gone. That's as we understand it. And so, as she wakes up, she goes over to her neighbor, Herb, trying to ask what's going on, and she realizes that since it's been 3 years for us, since WandaVision, she's been under that spell for 3 years. And so it was nice to see that they're not just going to change the time, because that just, the way they handled it, it just made sense for us. It's easier to follow, and it's simple, so that was nice. And she goes back to her home. She realizes that Billy Maximoff, Wiccan, or some other character, and Marvel fans got it wrong, that he's actually kidnapped. She realized that arresting him was false, and she actually kidnapped him. He still doesn't say anything. And so Rio shows up again trying to kill her. And this is, unfortunately, I thought a really goofy decision on her part. Rio decides that through Agatha tempting her, saying, "Why don't you kill me at my best? Not now." So going through Rio's mind, she wants to kill this person. Now she's found this person. This person has no powers. But no, let's just wait till she has powers to go after her. So that's what she does. She says, okay, I'm not going to kill you. We'll have our fair fight, but I'm sending other people after you who could do it for me. So I'm technically giving up the kill, even though that's my story so far, is to kill you. So it's very confusing. There's some pretty dumb decision making on the character's part. I don't know if she's supposed to be toying with her, or really wants to kill her, or just trying to nudge her to get her powers back. I don't know what's going on, because like I said, they don't reveal much. The whole thing with WandaVision is you got very little piece of information one by one as the episodes go along. So in this episode, we don't get very much of information really at all, other than this witch wants to kill her, has now decided not to, but is warning others to come kill her. That's that. Now, I haven't seen the Marvel TV show Legion. As far as I know, it's not canon MCU, but I have heard Aubrey Plaza plays a demon, which demons are from hell, which means the devil and Mephisto technically were in the Ghost Rider movies that took place before the MCU, but Ghost Rider might not be canon, so they could have a new Mephisto. So either way, if this witch is the demon from Legion, she could have been sent by someone from hell, which could mean Mephisto, and Mephisto could be behind everything after all. We'll see what happens. I don't know, guys. Mephisto's always been rumored to be in Marvel. I think he'll show up eventually. I haven't found any concrete confirmation, but I'm seeing a lot of people on the internet have suggested that he is confirmed to be an Ironheart. So we'll see if that ends up being true. So I don't know where the story is going. I've seen a lot of the spooky elements from the trailer that weren't in this premiere. Now, this is a 2-episode premiere. I have only seen the first one. This review is just for the first episode, and I'll review the next one when I see it. So maybe everything I'm hoping for is in the next one, but it was not in the first episode. So here's hoping that the show picks up. We get more of those elements I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping we can get sort of the darker side of the MCU through the show, or at least with the characters. And if anything, at least we could get that visually. You know, the trailer showed some spooky shots of different faces and creatures, so I'm hoping that everything that's spooky about the show wasn't in the trailer. I hope there's more, because that ended up being what happened with Moon Knight, is the only freaky shot in Moon Knight was in the trailer, and there's nothing left for the fans. So I'm hoping that's not the case with this show, and I look forward to reviewing the rest of them. If you're watching this show, let me know what you think in the comments. I think this was a very okay premiere. Just not a lot happened, which seems to be standard, which ultimately a lot of these TV shows could have ended up being one of those hour-long specials, as they've done twice already. So let's see what happens. I'll watch the second episode pretty soon. I'll review it for you guys, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.